Yeah, it was. I mean, the whole process was actually slightly more than 2 years. It was probably like three or four, more like.
Yeah.
But I mean, over that time, I think I released maybe like three songs or four songs over those 4 years, and it was just kind of like I didn't really promote them. I did a
Mhm.
few like made a few posts, just like, hey, I put out some music, but it was never like put it on Spotify, put it on Apple Music, like have a whole collection of music. Because I didn't really, like you were saying, like it's tough to like put yourself out there, like here's a collection of stuff that I feel encapsulates who I am, or something like that. And
Mm.
it yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking, that's for sure. And putting yourself, you're like wearing your heart on your sleeves kind of, and just stuff that you've been working on personally and just really thinking a lot about, and it's finally out there and I don't have to think about it anymore, and I'm stoked about that, and hopefully people can just enjoy it for what it is.
I mean, it's a great record. Like I said, I've been listening to it on repeat and yeah, finding different things with it every single time. And one thing, after you've obviously had a couple of listens and you just get to grips with the sound and everything, obviously you start paying more attention to the words. And I'm a lyric writer myself, always have been, so I do kind of notice these things a bit more. Maybe I know, because what I mean by that point is that every musician or every no, screw it. Everyone that listens to music finds different things. You know what I mean? Some people are, more interested in what's going on with the drums or the bass or the lyrics or whatever the case may be. And for me, I started really paying attention to some of these lyrical themes you had. And what I've got from it so far is that it's basically mental health awareness and overall kind of positivity. But I kind of felt like, in a way, and it's fine if I got this wrong. Don't I don't mind. But to me, I kind of felt like we're kindred spirits in a sense, because a lot of the time when I write music like this as well, where it's like talking about like going through a particularly hard thing in life or whatever, I tend to write it from the perspective of like, hey, like as though I was speaking to myself, like, hey, you'll be okay. This is how it will go. And that's kind of how I felt listening to this record. It kind of felt like a bunch of different songs kind of talking maybe to your audience and also to yourself, and kind of saying like, this is how you get over these struggles that we all have. This is how you overcome these things. It's important to be positive. It's important to talk about these things and get them out there. Would I be correct in that kind of um assumption, or is there more to it with these lyrical themes? Like what was the kind of mentality behind the themes of the record?
Yeah, so I guess the thing as a whole, I over the past few years, I've just been, I've been struggling with lyric writing myself, because that's a whole nother version of, putting yourself out there, the things that you write,
Yeah.
and then there's, how you sing them. But so it's been a struggle over the past few years to really get words on paper and feel like I resonate with those words, and like don't try to feel like I'm just saying stuff to like make it sound like a cool song or something like that. But it it's definitely, you're definitely correct in the fact that it's definitely kind of just like a, like just trying to just instill a feeling in people, and like try to get them to look at things differently, or that's a general theme for a lot of the songs. But then there's a few songs, like the fifth track, Riverbed. That one I would say I wrote mostly about my friend who passed away a few years ago, and he was actually in the band in high school that we were in. And but it's also kind of, it's not very specific what I'm saying. It's very general and vague. So it could be about like a lost love, or whatever kind of relationship in your life. But that's like definitely uh a big thing for across a lot of the songs. I try to like make it so it's, you know, somewhat universally relatable.
Mm. Yeah, I found a similar thing with not just with music, but also with things like acting and stuff when I'm writing these things. That sometimes you might start with an idea about a specific event in your life or a feeling about something, and then yeah, you get inspirations from other things, and you kind of put together something that becomes something more or something else. You know, it's funny, like there's so many musicians out there and great bands that have released songs, and the fans obviously go like, oh, it's clearly about this thing, it's clearly about this person. And it's like, it might start with that. There might be some truth in it, but ultimately, you know, the song is yeah, it's a story, isn't it? It's a poem. It's many things. It can kind of start as one thing and grow into something completely different. And I think that's a really cool kind of thing behind this record. Like, I think that the key thing I want to get across with this record is that there's, you know, it's a type of record that you listen to a lot of different times and you get different things out of it each time, I think. And just in general, it's a real good feel good record. It's very chilled and relaxing. So it's not like, I don't know how to put it exactly, but it's something that you can kind of put it on and kind of have like a dance to it or whatever, or you can just sit back and relax to it. And I think that's always good to have a record that's like that, you know, because I feel like sometimes with more chilled out music, sometimes it's like too chilled and it's like, oh man, yeah, I really got to do something today. Like, but this record kind of sits somewhere in the middle, which is pretty cool. But yeah. So in terms of like how things move forward past this record, obviously this is a recent release. It's just come out, so make sure everyone goes out and streams the hell out of this. It's called What the Future Holds. And you mentioned it's not just available on Spotify, is it? Where else can people listen to the record?
It's pretty much everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, yeah, Amazon. You pretty much find it anywhere. Napster, that's still a thing, I guess.
Wow, Napster's still a thing. That's amazing. Blows my mind.
Yeah, YouTube, yeah, anywhere.